Hello and welcome to the Everything is Black and White podcast. Hope you guys are all doing well. Andrew Musgrove here, bringing you an additional episode this week ahead of the trip to Anfield to face Liverpool on Wednesday evening. Eddie Howe has held his press conference on Tuesday morning, and he has delivered not one, not two, but three positive injury updates for Newcastle United ahead of the trip to the Northwest. Not only will Sven Botman be close to returning, not only has Sandro Tonali been passed fit and ready to start that game against Liverpool, but big Joe Linton as well could be involved. Fantastic news for Newcastle United, and it leaves Eddie Howe with several dilemmas when it comes to selection, several positive selection dilemmas, which is what every manager wants. We'll start with whether he plays five at the back. Now, this is what I've suggested. I've spoken about this in the match preview with John Gibson. I said it would be Emil Kraft's time to shine because I didn't think Botman would be declared fit enough to play. But as it is, he looks like he's going to be ready. He's going to be involved in some way. Eddie Howe told the press this morning that Sven is improving and he's improving quickly. So we'll see whether he makes it. It will be close. And for me, if he is fit and if he is ready to play, I think you play Sven Botman. The only question is whether you do it in a five at the back. Will Eddie Howe change it up again and go for the same formation that he did against Arsenal in the League Cup second leg semi-final? For me, it's a no-brainer. That's exactly what I would do. Nullify the threat of Liverpool. You can push one of the three centre-backs, so it'll be either Cher, Burn or Botman, into the midfield when the ball goes long and sweep up that way. It works so perfectly against Arsenal. And okay, Arsenal aren't quite Liverpool, but they're still a very dangerous side. And I think if you're looking for the best way to shut down Liverpool, then five at the back is the biggest possible asset to do so. Many of you guys will be saying, well, actually, you need to flood the midfield. You need to keep that three across the middle and nullify the midfield threat of Liverpool, win the battle, and that's where the game is won or lost. And in usual circumstances, I would say I agree with you, but given that Mo Salah is in the form of his life, and given that actually, even without a proper recognised centre forward, Liverpool going forward still look so dangerous. I think playing five at the back for Newcastle United is the best way to go about winning this game. Let me know in the comments what you think, because of course, with the news that Joe Linton is close and maybe ready to be picked from the start, that might change the opinion of many. It hasn't changed my view. As I say, I would still play a five at the back, but for you guys, let me know what you would do. And indeed, if you're going to stick with the 4-3-2-1 formation, does Joe Linton start? Does Lewis Miley drop out? Because given that Sandro Tonali has been past fit and he's come through the game without any issues, the game against Nottingham Forest, he's a guaranteed starter, right? It has to be Tonali. You're not going to drop your captain in Bruno, so it's going to be Tonali and Bruno, and then one of either Joe Linton or Lewis Miley. I think it's quite clear that if everyone was fit, Joe Linton would be the third choice out of everybody, the first choice of the midfield three when it comes down to those three names. But you know, has Lewis Miley done enough to keep his spot in that midfield three? I thought he was excellent in the first half. Obviously gets the equaliser against Nottingham Forest. The second half went a little bit quiet, but I still think he was one of the best performers on the afternoon. I think he's absolutely tremendous. He's got a big future ahead of him. Eddie Howe keeps talking about how really there's no ceiling on what Lewis Miley can achieve. Only 18 years of age. We saw last season when he played in the Champions League how well he handled the big occasions, and there's no bigger occasion than going down to Anfield under the lights, League Cup final, dress rehearsal, and he could definitely handle the start against Liverpool. But it's just whether the physicality of Joe Linton is more important than maybe the technical ability that Lewis Miley brings. Anyhow, on Joe Linton, did say that it's similar to Sven. He's really improving and doing well and pushing. He's another player who could be quite close. Joe's always important from a number of perspectives, especially in defending set pieces. He has those key aspects that we have missed when he's not there. His physicality and strength. There's an obvious presence missing in our midfield. Joey is a massive player for us. So that is what Eddie Howe is dealing with, wondering who to start in the midfield. I mean, for what it's worth, I don't think he'll go five at the back. I think he will probably stick with the formation that he's played for the large part of this season and go 4-3-2 wingers with Isak up top. And if that is the case, and you're asking me who I would pick, I think I would bring Joe Linton back in alongside Tonali and Bruno, and then you can bring Miley on with the legs later on in the game. But then, you might flip that on its head and say, well, actually play Miley. He's got the legs and ground to cover. He covered, I think it was 11.2 kilometers against Nottingham Forest. Only Bruno covered more with 11.7. You're going to need a lot of run. You're going to need a lot of energy. And maybe Joe Linton is the man to bring on later in the game, using that strength and physicality. But then again, maybe you want him from the off to ruffle a few feathers. It's a very, very difficult decision to make, and one that Eddie Howe, I think, will be relishing making, because you want those choices. You want this difficult decision to make. And isn't it great that Newcastle United have got a few more options, a few decent options as well to choose from when it comes to that starting 11? What else did Eddie Howe have to say in his press conference where he spoke about Alexander Isak reaching 50 Premier League goals, faster than Harry Kane, faster than Sergio Aguero, and faster than Thierry Henry. And he said, I do think it highlights how well he's done when you look at the names you mentioned there. And also you put that together with when he first came to the club. My memory was just a lot of relegation. So it wasn't as if he was joining a team that was right at the top of the league and free scoring in that moment. So we had to try and become that team. But I just think he's come in with a great attitude to the club. He's come in hungry to succeed, eager to help the team. He's not been selfish in that period. He's not thought of himself. He's always played for the team, and I'm delighted for him. And it's a great, great record that Alexander Isak has got, and hopefully he adds more goals to his tally. And he loves playing against Liverpool. Okay, results-wise, hasn't quite gone his way, but he loves scoring against them. And I think him versus Virgil van Dijk, I'm backing Isak to win that battle on Wednesday night. I can see him getting another goal or two and embarrassing Van Dijk again. And hopefully that is what happens. But yeah, brilliant news that Eddie Howe has those three players to pick from. Gives you a real boost, I think. I was already confident going into this game. That has boosted my confidence even more. Hopefully, if you were feeling a little bit down in the dumps about this trip to Anfield, you're feeling a little bit more happy about it now, because Eddie Howe has potentially got three of his first choice back to choose from and put them into that starting 11. Brilliant news for Eddie Howe, brilliant news for Newcastle, and I can't wait to see the team sheet. The other update, just slightly, is about the meetings that were held at Matfin Hall yesterday. Big meetings where the proposals for the new stadium, which is now understood to be away from the current site, not too far away, literally just over into Leazes Park, but that is understood to be the preference. Plenty of reports saying that is what was presented to the PIF. Of course, the chairman was there as well. And these plans are said to be bold, said to be expensive, but said to be very, very, very impressive. No decision has been made, and it's likely to take a few weeks, if not months, before any decision has been made. But now at least they've got the plans in their hands, and the next step is to simply have something to take back to the fan advisory board and then to the wider fan base, so they understand what is on the table and what might become of St James's Park, or indeed Newcastle United's new home in the future. Let us know what you would do. Would you like to see Newcastle United stay at St James's Park and expand? Talk that it would go up to maybe 60,000 seats for around of a cost of £800 million, or talk of a much larger brand new stadium for over £1 billion. Lots of speculation at the moment, obviously, until we see the firm plans in our hands. We wait, but that's what's been reported by some very respectable colleagues, and what we've also heard on the grapevine as well. So let us know in the comments what you would do and what you make of what you've read over the last 24 hours about Newcastle United's future at St James's Park, or indeed a new home. Eddie Howe was asked about those high-level meetings. I'm just going to find you the quote really quickly, because it was really, really interesting to hear what he had to say about it. He said, I've had various conversations with them, and I think a lot's been discussed at the various board meetings that you mentioned, probably not for public consumption. I wasn't in all of those meetings. I was in some of them, but I'm sure positive outcomes for the club moving forward. So that's what I had to say about those high-level meetings. Of course, the chairman onto the pitch at full time against Nottingham Forest. He took in that game. Didn't all go Newcastle United's way, which is probably best, I think, for Newcastle United. You got to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. Got to see that really the club does need some investment in the summer, some improvements to the playing squad, but also got to see what a fantastic job Eddie Howe is doing. They're going for Champions League football with a squad that hasn't had any serious investment in it in 3 windows, not for the want of trying. The PSR rules are really strangling the club's ability to spend and help Eddie Howe out with new squad additions. But hopefully this summer it's a lot different. But yeah, you got to see what a tremendous job he is doing. But all eyes on Anfield on Wednesday night. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on what the score is going to be and your predicted starting 11 as well. Would you go 5 at the back? Would you stick though? Or would you stick with 3 in the middle? I think those are the 2 key questions. As I said, 5 at the back for me, but I think the majority of you guys will probably say stick with 4-3-2-1. Bring back in Joe Linton, have a midfield 3 of Joe Linton, Bruno, and Tonali. Have a back line of, who's it going to be? Are you going to drop Dan Burn out? Are you going to drop Fabian Schär out and have 2 left footers playing at centre back? I think the majority of you guys might go Botman and Burn and drop Schär out, but let me know if I'm wrong on that. That's what I would do. It was 4 at the back. I think it reaffirms we need a right-sided centre back though to come in and partner Sven Botman next season. But that's all for another podcast. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Hit thumbs up, hit subscribe. As always, sponsored by NordVPN. Click the link in the podcast description box to get a very exclusive discounted offer on a NordVPN plan. It's well worth your money. And for myself, I will see you guys very soon.